Hey guys, this is class 5, marketing to your customers. Is marketing important in Uganda? Customers in Uganda walk to the vendors. Customers in Uganda walk to the supermarkets, they walk to the markets, they walk to convenience stores to buy products. Many times you don't have to go to them. Customers will come and reach out to you and then find the product. It is important to figure out who truly wants your product so you can tell them about your product, and that's marketing to your customers. You will start advertising your products as soon as your product is ready for the public.
You may be wondering, who wants your stuff? Well, we're going to be talking about marketing and advertising. It may be easier to sell your stuff or your product if you go to the people who are more likely to want it. Therefore, you have to figure out who may want your product. Don't make the mistake and think that everyone will want your product, because you should focus your attention on the group of people who will most likely buy from you. So there are some steps that you can use to find your customer base. So step number 1, pick a target market, which is a group of people who will want to use your product or services. There are 3 ways to find a target market. Option 1, brainstorm. Brainstorm who may need your business. For example, if you have a juice business, you want to target the people such as mothers who shop for family, students at school, and customers at car parks. Option 2, you can have people complete a market survey. So a market survey would be a survey that you will give to people in which you will ask them questions related to your product. Let's talk about your market survey. So you're going to be asking people questions for your market survey. To do that, you need to have a list of questions about, let's say, your juice business idea on a piece of paper that you will show to people. You're going to write people's answers on a different piece of paper that you do not show to them. You're going to approach different people such as men, women, boys, girls, young, old, rich, poor, in a public place such as a mall, where it is acceptable to stop strangers. To approach them, you would say something such as, "Hello, I am thinking about starting a business that will sell juice in a plastic bag. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions to get an idea of who may be interested in buying my juice? Let me tell you, this works. I was at the library and I was approached by a college student doing this very same thing. I thought, oh, I know exactly what she's doing. Let me help her out." So, if the person you approach says no, they do not want to speak with you, your response should be, "Thank you and have a nice day." However, if they say yes, you can say, "I have 6 questions to ask." Telling them the number of questions that you have with them will give them confidence to let them know you're not going to keep them there all day long asking questions. So, hand them the paper so that they can see the questions, and also you read the questions aloud to them. You don't know if people feel comfortable reading or are able to read very well. So once they have answered all of your questions, ask them for the paper back so that you can use it again to interview other people. So you're probably thinking, what sort of question should I include in my market survey? Don't worry, I got you covered. Here is a list of potential questions that you can tailor to fit your particular product or services. But here we go. Example number 1. Do you currently buy or would you buy juice in a plastic bag? We're going to stick with the juice business idea. Why or why not? Number 2, if you currently buy juice in a plastic bag, where do you get it from? Number 3, what do you like most about buying juice in a bag from the place where they shop? Number 4, what would you change about buying juice in a bag from the place where they shop? 5, Do you mind telling me your age range? An age range is much better than asking people their specific age, because some people don't want to tell you their age. So you can ask if they're younger than 20, between 20 and 30, 31 and 40, and so on. 6, and where do you spend your free time? So you're probably wondering, why would you want to ask people these specific questions? Well, here's the answer key. Number 1, this question tells you if they like the idea. Number 2, tells you about your competition. Number 3, tells you what you have to do to attract the customer to buy your product or services. Number 4, tells you how you can steal that customer by avoiding the mistakes done by your competition. Number 5, tells you who may buy your product. Also, write down the gender and the ethnicity of the person who answered your question, so that you can tailor it to different populations. Like, oh, it seems like more people from this group would be interested in buying my product. I can focus on them. And then finally, number 6 tells you where you can find people who may buy your product. And there is a third way to find your target market. And this way is to test out multiple target markets. Okay, for example, you can offer your product or services to a variety of people, young, old, men, women, so forth, to see who decides to actually buy from you. Now you have to keep track of who is buying from you and where they are, such as if it's only boys at school who are buying from you, or people who work at hospitals are buying from you, so that you can figure out specifically who your target market is. And then once you figure out your target market, you have to decide how you want to reach that group. So you will advertise to your target market, which means you're going to be telling people several things about yourself, such as you're going to tell them about your business, which is who you are, what you are selling, the reason they should buy from you, how they can reach you, and pictures of your product and services. Now let's talk about advertisement. So when you advertise to your target market, that means you're going to be telling people about your business, such as who you are, what you are selling, the reason they should buy from you, how to reach you, and pictures of your product. You can post flyers in public places such as schools or local markets, but you need to get permission first. You can also just hand out flyers as well to people in public places such as grocery stores, libraries, and other businesses. But once again, you got to get permission first. You don't want anyone chasing you out of a place. For people who have access to the internet, you can actually advertise on social media. That includes like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. For Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, you can include pictures, a description of your product, and even prices. On YouTube, you can show them how to use your product in a video and provide the same information as you would on other social media sites.
Good advertising should persuade you to buy one product versus another. It helps if it also changes the image of that product, and it helps if the advertising makes people feel better and happier and kind of excited. I mean, all those things are good things. But the most important thing is, does it sell the product?
So it's almost like, no, don't ask for the sale. My God, every square inch of everything I do is asking for the sale, you know? So it starts with the fact that the young people, are almost embarrassed to be selling.
You've gotten a couple of customers, and maybe you're interested in surveying your customers. You want to ask them how they like your product, and you want to try to see if there's anything that you need to improve to make the products better. So you can do this by giving them a very short survey to complete, and you can ask them questions about your price. Is the price just right? Is it too low? Is it too high? You can ask about the quality of your work. How well does it work? How long does it last? Talking about your product. You can ask about the appearance of your product. Is it eye-catching, or is the product too plain? You can ask how well the product or service meets their needs. Did the product serve the problem, or did they have to use another product to meet their needs? You can also try to get some free publicity, and that would include getting people to mention your business in their newspapers, on the radio, in their newsletters, or on their websites for free. So to make this happen, you will have to tell people something interesting about your business, such as an interesting story about how you came up with your business idea, or what makes you and your business different from other similar businesses. But don't be discouraged if you're not able to get someone to give you some free publicity. So here are some techniques to help you attempt to make this happen. So to get a mention in a newspaper, you have to look at the names of people who write about businesses in your local newspaper. Call your local radio station and ask to speak to the person who puts ads on the radio to find out what you need to do to get a free mention. For your local websites and social media sites, you can ask them to mention your product, and to do that you want to do a Google search to find out the types of sites that are related to your product and look for information on how to contact them. Send them an email and ask them for a free mention. Now, to encourage people to mention your business, you may consider giving them a free product, and they can try it out, and if they like it, they can mention it in the newspaper, their newsletters, website, radio, etc. The best way, however, is to ask your customers to tell their friends and their family about your product, particularly if they like it. And if a new customer buys from you and mentions the name of your old customer, you give the old customer a 20% discount for bringing in new business. Now, the discount will encourage the old customers to tell as many people as they know to go buy from you, so that they can also benefit as well.
He had just recently developed the launch ads for MTV, and he developed this advertising campaign to introduce an unknown to the world of fashion overnight, and he did it. He said, I've got an idea. Why don't we put a picture of Ralph Lauren? He's an old guy with white hair. Calvin Klein, looks a little craggy. And maybe Halston, he's dead. And then we'll say, you're the next. And I said, well, you can't compare me to Ralph Lauren and Calvin Klein. I mean, I can't compare myself. It'll sound like I'm bragging or something. You know, I like to view myself as looking at those guys as the gods.
So I show him an ad, and it says, the 4 great American designs for men are, and then it said C dash dash dash, you know, you had to fill in the name. Calvin Klein, the other one's R dash, Ralph Lauren, P dash dash dash, Perry Ellis. Then I said T dash dash dash, H dash 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 dash. You know, who the hell knew who TH was? Tommy's mother didn't know.
I don't want any part of this.
Of course, Tommy saw it and almost had a heart attack. So I can't do that.
He sat me down and said, listen, if you want to have any name recognition in this business at all, you need millions of dollars worth of advertising over and over and over and over, and it'll take you years. If you want your name to be known right away and people to go and look at your clothes, we need something unique like this.
I always use the term seemingly outrageous. You should look at something and think it's a little crazy, and in the next 2 or 3 or 4 seconds or 20 seconds, you realize, wow, it's on the nose. You know, but the product better be damn good, because if the product isn't any good, I'll put it out of business.
So now it's time for you to create a flyer or a press release that you will send to a newspaper, newsletter, website, or radio. So you have to write that information down. So here is a table to outline the information you want to include in a flyer or a press release. So the first thing you want to do is come up with a really catchy title. Let's pretend that the name of your business is Kid Scribble Notebooks. You're selling notebooks. And so the catchy title could be, Don't Scribble in Any Old Notebook. Sounds pretty catchy, right? You want to include the name of your business, which is Kid Scribble. And you can say that it is a new notebook company started and run by high school students. Number 3, you want to tell them how to get your product. You can say something such as, we are offering large and small notebooks decorated by nature at the local market. You can also email us at, and then you can include an email address such as info@kidscribble.com, or call us and you can include your telephone number if you want. Number 4, if you are having a special event or the first day you're going to be selling your products, you want to include the date, place, and time of that event. So you could say something such as, notebooks go on sale Saturday, January the 3rd of 2020 from noon to 4 p.m. Look for our sign at the local market. Number 5, you want to include something unique or interesting to hold people's attention, such as people who buy Kid Scribble notebooks are scribbling on the best. Supplies are limited, so get there early. So it's kind of like a call to action. You're telling people what you want them to do. And number 6 is just optional, but you can give some away for free or donate some of your profits to charity. So an example of that would be to encourage people to get in line first, because the first 10 people will get a 20% discount on a Kid Scribble notebook. Now that's a deal. So there are 6 different things you want to include on your flyer or press release. And here's some examples of how you can make it interesting and just tailor it to your specific product or service. Whenever you are creating your marketing materials, your flyers, your posters, your press releases, there are certain words that when you use them, they are attractive to customers. And so those words are broken into different categories in this table. So let's say, for example, you sell cookies or muffins. Some words that you can include in your poster or your flyer is that we have delicious muffins, or our muffins are so yummy. So these are really interesting words that will attract customers. If you have a product that people use, you want to say that the product is simple to use or it's easy to use. Also, it's sometimes helpful to include the quality of your product or the quality of your services. So if you're doing things such as removing trash from yards of your customers, you could say, we are dependable, or we are strong, or we are reliable, we show up on time. If you are talking about something that you've made, such as clothes or earrings, you could say, we make handmade clothing, or our purses are spotless. If you are working with other students, you want to talk about maybe the staff that you have. You can say, we are smart and friendly high school students doing our best to create a great business. Sometimes you also want to think about what you want to ask the customers to do related to your business. So you want to say, hey, act now, come buy from us, or shop from us, we're the best. Or we have the best savings, come buy from us. You can also include special offers or discounts. And lastly, if you want to include caring words, such as how you feel about your customers, you could say such as, we really value our customers. We take time to make sure the job is done right. We care about your happiness. So these are just some words that you can add to your posters or your flyers or your press releases to make them more interesting. Remember, don't include all of them. Just choose 1 or 2 words to sprinkle throughout your advertisement to make them more interesting. In addition to having flyers that you hand out to people, you can create posters. Now, posters are just slightly larger than the flyers, which tend to be just a regular sized piece of paper. So on your flyer or your poster, there are certain things that you can put on it to make it interesting, such as a logo, which represents your business, or even just a picture of your face. You can include 3 benefits to using your product or services and tell people how to get your product or services. You also want to include how much it costs. Another thing that you may want to include on your flyer or poster are written testimonials. So these are things that your customers say to you about your product or services that are nice, praise about your product or services. And so you could put your testimonials on your advertisements, and if people give you free mentions in their newspaper or radio stations or websites, you can ask them to read some of these testimonials. So here's some examples of what testimonials may look like. So if you have a product of earrings, let's say your customer said something nice such as, when I wear the earrings I bought, I always get so many compliments and everyone wants to know where I bought them. So you want to write that down and then put that on your poster or flyer as a testimonial. And if you can get the person to agree to use their first name, that would be great as well, because that gives it credibility. Let's say also you are selling notebooks. A testimonial could be someone saying, I love this notebook. It is beautifully decorated. The pages are bright, smooth, and there are a lot of pages in the notebooks. When people see it, they always ask me where I got this gorgeous notebook, but I only tell my closest friends so that I can be special. So you want to write all that down, get that person's first name, and put their name underneath that comment. And so these are just 2 examples of testimonials that you will ask your customers if they feel comfortable providing for you. Sometimes you have to create incentives to get customers to buy from you. So we're going to talk about special incentives. So to get customers to buy your product, sometimes you're going to offer them something extra, and you will include that in your marketing. For example, you can give away a free pencil for every purchase of a notebook. That's something extra. The pencil is something extra that they get for free. Also, you can include sales, and sales could be like a 50% off of one notebook, or buy one notebook, get the other one free, or buy one, get the second one half off, or you could buy 2 and get the third one free. And so these are just examples of different types of sales that you can offer to get customers to buy from you. It's time for discussion questions. Here are 8 questions that I would like you to think about to help you improve your business. So number 1, where would you go to find a group of people to ask questions for a market survey to help find your target customers? So where in your community would you go to do that? Number 2, what would be the easiest and low-cost way to advertise to your target customers? 3, in general, who does most of the shopping for the family in your neighborhood or your community? That might include the target group for your product or services. Number 4, should you include this person as one of your target customers? 5, who influences what this person buys? You may have that person and another one as your target customer, because that other person kind of encourages this individual what to get. Number 6, do you need to advertise to multiple people? Who might those people be? Number 7, when do these people tend to go shopping? So if you advertise specifically to one group of people, if those people only shop during a specific time, that might be the time when you want to be in the market selling your product. And number 8, do you think this information will affect how often your customers will buy from you? So if your target customers only shop at a specific place or a specific time, you may want to sell your products at that place and at that time. So take a look at these discussion questions and write down the answers on a piece of paper to keep for yourself. Hey, YIE Club Teenies, Professor G. I hope you learned quite a bit from the information I just taught you in this video. However, if you have a question or you want to join our website forum, you've got to email me. Also, I didn't forget, You gotta do the homework assignment in the video. You gotta practice these skills. Practice makes perfect. Also, like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.